Hi, ChickenboneJohn here again with another new guitar. Now we've done some of these Sugar Skulls guitars in the past, hand painted by my daughter Anne Zilpha, but this one's a little special because it's basically, you can see there's no pickup, it's basically an acoustic. This is it without any amplification. Loud enough for practicing at home. You could probably even put a mic in front of that. It's a solid top on this box. It's got two long braces like a jazz guitar and a bridge plate, but the great thing is it's got a Fishman Presys Plus pickup in it. I've got this plugged into the PA, clean with a little bit of reverb, and the settings are, I've got the bass rolled off on this because it's quite punchy. We'll just put we'll put some volume in here. So with that, it's got an undersaddle pickup in here. Underneath this bone saddle and a mahogany bridge, bone nut. So you get, I wouldn't say a true acoustic sound, but you get an acoustic sound unlike when you have a magnetic pickup. So you get more of the string feel and the string sound. So any dynamic you're putting in with your, particularly your right hand, it'll pick up those nuances of your playing. Very cool for sort of this sort of where it's nice clean sounding. If you put it through with the regular amp and crank it up like a regular guitar, you can get an electric sound out of it. It will overdrive an amp, but I think the beauty is this great sound. Now that's set with not much treble. It's about mid in the treble and the mids. The bass taken out. If I put the bass up, you can. That'll probably overwhelm the treble strings, but you know you can do that. That's rolled back to midway. Put the middle up. Got a nice driving mid-range. I roll that back to the middle, and then if I wind the treble up, if you want more of that percussion of your fingers, and it's also got a brilliance which adds yet more treble. You get more of the string attack. If you want to exaggerate even more the percussive nature of your right hand playing. That in a little bit. I think it's a bit too much for my taste, but there you go. Cool thing about the tuner is you've got a volume, you've got bass, mid and treble, you've got the brilliance control, you've got a notch filter which can help you dial out any feedback problems. The phase, you can also use that if you've got a feedback problem, and it's got the little tuner, so if you put the tuner on, it will knock that I'll knock out the and then you get the little light coming on. We're slightly flat. Yeah, we're just slightly flat on those. Then go for tune that up. I think we're on. I think we're on there. Yeah, there we go. Oops. Picking up the bass. But you get a green light when you're in tune. There, we're on now. Got the green light on the little dial, so it's handy. That's facing you. So it silences it, mutes it. Put it back on. So that's it. There's a few other little innovations on here. I mean, not real innovation, but I put a shaped headstock on here, which means you get the machines, they're all working the correct way around. This is a cherrywood neck, laminated with a dark wood, which is the same stuff is on the fingerboard. And this is interesting because this is a Blackwood Tek fretboard. It's not ebony. This one's actually stained green, but once we've just oiled it, it's gone almost black rather than bottle green. But there's quite a few manufacturers who are using this stuff now. It's sustainable timber. It's a New Zealand pine, which is plantation grown, and then it's stained and goes, I think, a heat and pressure treatment. So it's really stable, got a uniform moisture content. It's as hard, I believe as hard as ebony, harder than rosewood. I think it may be the way forward for a lot of people. You know, things like rosewood and ebony are coming under the CITES thing. Fender have gone, I think, to Pau Ferro. Martin are using Rich Light, and I looked at this, but it's basically it's Bakelite. It's paper and phenolic resin, so it's a pretty nasty stuff to make, and you have to glue it on with an epoxy. Wood glue doesn't work, so that for me is not the way forward. But we're going to be looking at this. I don't know. We only make small numbers, so they might not supply us. But it's nice to work with. The colour is consistent through the material. I've planed it, sawn it, sanded it, inlaid it, and this is inlaid with Australian Paua shell. It's like an abalone. Beautiful stuff. We've got another one that we did with a Wenge fretboard and used Australian black pearl. These are new things that we've brung in after we went to Frankfurt Music Meta trade show a few weeks ago, and got some samples, start putting them into guitars, trying to do something different and improve what we're doing. These fretboards, if we can get them in sufficient quantities, we will be putting them onto more of our guitars, and we will be releasing them for sale. I really like this material because it's sort of selected and then compressed. It's a really uniform material to work with. You know, there's no surprises, there's no hidden knots. As I say, it's consistent size, consistent density, and moisture content. Really interesting stuff. And of course on this we've got our own Zilpha phosphor bronze strings, hand wound in the UK, and we're also using our own leads, these great leads. We've got the nitric jack, which is a metal jack, black powder coated, gold plated, and Sommer classic cable, which is a tweed covered cable with an oxygen free copper wires inside it. The oxygen free stuff, I don't believe in all these sort of tone bullshit about, you know, higher trebles and the rest of it, and I don't really go into the whole capacitance thing and what that does to your tone. But the thing about oxygen free copper in cables means it's less likely to degrade and actually oxidize and turn into copper oxide. If you've looked at a cheap cable after a few years, you'll notice it goes almost black and very brittle, and it's difficult to solder. That's because a lot of the copper is turning into copper oxide. Not good for longevity. And also the great thing about these cables, there's a strain relief chuck. When we put these together and solder them, you're not relying on the solder holding it or a crimp to hold the cable. You screw these things together, and there's a chuck like on a drill chuck, which clamps onto the cable, so that you can pull these and it won't pull apart. They are great cables. The Neutrik jack is simply I think it's simply the best thing out there. Anyway, so there we go. Acoustic 3-string, solid top, all hand braced, all handmade, hand painted. So this is not a cheap guitar. Excuse me. And we're going to be doing this, I'll just put this down for 1 second, with our new Tweed cases. These are really cool things. These are custom made for cigar box guitar. Perfect size, perfect fit for these guitars. They'll take a guitar up to about 200 millimeters wide, and that's 900 long. So you've got a little bit of length to play with there. You know, you got the neck support. You got a little cubby hole in here, and we're going to be doing these with a special package. So we'll be doing guitars like this with the case, with handmade uber duper leather straps made in Yorkshire, the Glastonbury made slides, the Star Singer, and we're going to be putting in the Sommer German Sommer cables, hand assembled by us. So you get a really nice package. We'll probably throw in you some plectrums, some stickers as the case candy, as they say. So it'll be a really nice outfit if you want to treat yourself, or it'll be a fantastic present for somebody. But these cases are just what you want. They'll age up nicely as well. If you like the battered effect, just neglect them a little bit, spill a bit of coffee on them and that. But yeah, it's a really nice tweed wood shell case, as I say, custom made for our cigar box guitars. Okay, I hope you found that interesting, and bye for now.